Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, December 31st, Old Year's Night, New Year's Eve 2015. I'm Lauren Fraser with the details. The midday deadline for today, December 31st, 2015 was met, and election petitions for the Central, Leeward and North Windward constituencies have been filed in the High Court by the New Democratic Party, or the NDP, against the ruling Unity Labour Party, the ULP government. NDP leader Arnim Eustace told SVG-TV News the petitions were filed for the two constituencies because they strongly believe that these seats were contaminated during the December 9th electoral process. Eustace says that he is pleased that his legal team, which consisted of Stanley Stocky John, QC, and Maya Eustace, met the requisite tasks of getting statements and affidavits, among other things. He says with the process fully completed and submitted, the government now has a case to answer. Eustace says the NDP, as well as its supporters, still do not recognize the ruling Unity Labour Party as a legitimate government. Official results by the Electoral Office declared the ULP the winners of the December 9th general elections by a one-seat majority, and several observer teams, which include the OAS, CARICOM and the Commonwealth, who monitored the process, say it was free and fair or above board. Earlier this week, the NDP faced its first loss in the court in respect to the recent general elections when the sitting High Court Judge Justice Brian Cottle denied an application by the NDP's Central Leeward candidate Benjamin Exeter for certain electoral documents in the hands of the Office of the Supervisor of Elections to be handed over to the court. Campaign manager for the Unity Labour Party and recently sworn-in Senator Julian Francis says he is not surprised by the recent court ruling which the New Democratic Party lost. Francis says he awaits the election petitions by the NDP.
People elected a wonderful government. We must come to Parliament. It's the opening day of Parliament. I mean, there's nothing can stop us from coming to Parliament. It's an obligation. It's a responsibility. And we're here to serve the people who have elected us for a fourth term.
Anything else you want to say about the protesters, about what's going on?
I'm not even seeing them. I'm seeing through them. Honestly, I'm seeing through them. They lost in the court yesterday. They have no case. They said they have petitions to come. We are waiting the petitions.
When persons play politics and walk out of Parliament, important work is left undone. That's according to Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves at the first sitting of the 10th Parliament after the members of the opposition staged a walkout moments before he stood to make his congratulatory remarks. Addressing the matter of the Public Accounts Committee, which is a body by convention including members of the opposition, the Prime Minister proposed 5 members from the government side who will be on the committee and said he hopes the opposition will at some point put forward their 4 members to be a part of the committee.
Public Accounts Committee is a constitutional body which has as its central remit the analysis of government revenue and expenditure, and particularly as reflected in the reports of the Director of Audit, and to hear persons from the public service to provide explanations for matters which are to be provided, including the Director of Audit, the Director General of Finance and Planning, and any permanent secretary or other accounting officer. So it's a very important body, and that body has to send its report to Parliament, proposing 5 on the government side. The Honourable Minister of Agriculture, the Honourable Minister of Tourism, the Honourable Minister of Economic Planning and Sustainable Development, the Honourable Minister of Transport and Works, the Honourable Minister of Health, and of course, as I've said before, the Honourable Attorney General. At some time in the future, I anticipate that the members of the opposition will name their members of the Public Accounts Committee.
Stressing the importance of the committee, Dr. Gonsalves said should the opposition refuse to participate, there will be an issue where important checks on the government affairs will not be done.
If the opposition chooses not to appoint members, and if Parliament does not change the standing orders, we may well find a situation that an important check on the government in respect of revenue and expenditure is not in place, and it is important that it be in place. And that is why when persons do their politics and walk out, important work is left undone, and the people who voted for those who walked out are shortchanged in the process, and so to the country.
Leader of the NDP, Adam Eustace, chided Deputy Prime Minister Sir Louis Straker for recent statements made in relation to an incident which took place in Layu on December 10th, where NDP supporters were protesting as the recount took place for the central Leeward seat in the just concluded general elections. Speaking on a radio program, Eustace said that his party will remain firm but will not resort to a tirade of violence and will continue to use the legal avenues to get justice as they continue to challenge the December 9th, 2015 general election results, particularly for the central Leeward seat.
Said some very nasty things to my daughter down in the youth the day before and so on. But I often say this, you can't give a pig sponge cake. It's too delicate for it to eat. There is no other avenue that we have at this time within the framework of our laws and our constitution that we can use, except one wants to go on a tirade of violence. And I'm not recommending that. We have to be firm in our constant efforts to get a change in the thinking of our population who are influenced by these negative thoughts often coming from the so-called Prime Minister of this country. Not accept it. All of us know the difference between right and wrong, and sometimes I begin to doubt that. We have been brought up in a Christian society, and we ought to know the difference between right and wrong. And those who try to pretend it's otherwise, doing great harm to this country and to the young people of this country. Wrong is not right.
The NDP leader says in 2000, when the NDP was in government, he was then Minister of Finance, and the ULP created what was dubbed as the roadblock revolution. He pointed out that the then NDP government resorted to negotiations rather than open violence. He says today, similarly, Vincentians have the right to protest, and their safety should not be threatened in any way.
That would have been a terrible thing. To tell your force, your police force, and get them come what may, is not the right way to proceed. We have to find a way to convince our population, at the same time minimizing the physical harm that could come to them by our security forces. There is a balance you have to strike. It's not either or. You have to take a decision. And when you take such a decision, the paramount concern has to be the safety of the Vincentian people, and safety in the sense of physical safety. So one would tend to err on the side of negotiation rather than open violence. And we must never forget that. It's very easy now to descend into a violent outcome, but we all regret it in the long run. So while that option was open, it was not an option that was pursued.
Taking the opportunity to thank voters for re-electing the Unity Labour Party to govern SVG, Mrs. Eloise Gonsalves, wife of this country's Prime Minister, says she is pleased with the victory at the polls.
I'm extremely proud of my husband and his victory and his performance in the last four elections. I'm very proud of him, and I'm happy to be here today.
Member of Parliament for West St. George and Minister of Culture Cecil Mackey says his priority for 2016 will be the improvement of access to air and sea facilities in the country. Mackey told SVG-TV News that the opening of the Argyle International Airport will ensure that this country becomes a major tourist destination.
We have heard about the plans to open the Argyle International Airport very soon, very early in 2016. So that is going to be a major upliftment for access arrivals by air to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That has been one of our major challenges as a tourism destination. So I think that is going to open up the St. Vincent and the Grenadines to the world in a major way. So we can expect to see greater arrivals. We also have arrivals by sea. We have heard about the construction of the cruise ship terminal at Annesville, where the new city will be located, and we know that there's going to be an additional berthing facility for yachts to complement what is going on in other parts of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, particularly in the Grenadines, so that we can see arrivals also increasing by sea.
The newly re-elected government minister says he will also focus on refurbishing sporting and cultural facilities, as well as reviving some of the country's cultural festivities.
Also know that we are doing a lot of work with the festivals throughout the year in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, so I'm looking forward to working along with the communities and the churches and the schools and all of the organizations to develop that aspect of the culture. And also in sports, we've had the most successful year by far in 2015 in sport, and we have some major things planned: the construction of the stadium, further upgrades to the facilities, and ensuring that we have more opportunities for sportsmen and women, identifying the sports and cultural ambassadors, and they are going to assist in that process. So over those three sectors, I think there's going to be great excitement and great scope for development for 2016 and beyond.
The prize-giving ceremony of the 2015 SVG Christmas 9 Mornings Festival will take place this Saturday, January 2nd, 2016, from 10 a.m. at the Peace Memorial Hall. At the ceremony, prizes and awards will be distributed to the various zonal and national winners in the Vinlec Community Lighting Competition, the Best Lit Garden and Private House, along with Best 9 Mornings Community, Best Christmas Community, and Best Local Christmas Song. Among the big winners for 2015 are Point Village Community Lighting Champion for the 3rd year in a row, Stubbs winning Best 9 Mornings Community for the 4th year in a row, Port Elizabeth Beckway winning Best Christmas Community for the 1st time, and Rolly Bowman, winner of the Best Local Christmas Song yet again. Other repeat winners include Richmond Hill Gardens and Olivia De Silva winning Best Lit Garden and Private House respectively. Addresses will come from the Honorable Cecil Mackey, Minister of Culture, and representatives of the principal sponsors of the festival, the National Lotteries Authority, and Vinlec. 9 Mornings is one of the major festivals in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and was celebrated under the theme Celebrating a Unique Vincentian Tradition. The police here are on the hunt for Barbadian national Declan Anthony Glasgow, alias Beige, whose address is given as South Rivers. He is said to be wanted in connection with the murder of Ojavi Hooper, which occurred in South Rivers on Boxing Day, December 26th this year. Glasgow, according to the police, is believed to be armed and considered dangerous. He is 5 feet 7 inches tall, dark brown in complexion with brown eyes and a tattoo on his right arm. If you have any information as to his whereabouts, you're asked to contact the police at telephone numbers 451-2467 or 457-1211. Hooper died on his way to the Georgetown Hospital on Boxing Day after sustaining a gunshot injury to his back around 9 p.m. It is the end of yet another year, and as it is the norm today, New Year's Eve, December 31st, for celebrations to be taking place around the world. For Vincentians here at home, today is known as Old Year's Day, and as persons count down the hours to the new year, SVG-TV's news team visited the bustling capital Kingstown earlier today and caught up with a few persons who shared some reflections on 2015 and what they will be looking forward to come 2016.
Just right my wrongs, try and live good and get closer to God. It was a really rough year for me, so that's why I want to try and right my wrongs and, just get a better 2016.
I don't make resolutions with that. Before the night done, I don't break it, so it doesn't make any sense. I have plenty of trouble, I have plenty of trouble in the past year, so I even want to talk about it either. Just hoping to look forward for the next day and see what God has in store for me and see if I could follow that. Right?
Well, the past year for me, there were trying times, there were testing times, but through it all, God has brought me through. I just want to thank Him.
2015 was a bit good, yes, but it could have been better. It was good, but it could have been better. Because all this violence and thing is going on now, we have to, the government that is in present is going to do something. They will be having a solution to all these crimes and fighting and so on.
The past year was good and bad. How am I going to spend New Year's in church? And my New Year's resolution is do better than what I did this year.
It was wonderful.
And how do you plan to ring in the new year?
Well, putting God first as usual, and I'm thinking about advancing my studies this year, so by the grace of God, I hope everything goes well.
So to live for Christ is better than all. So I just pray that the Lord will help me and my family to draw closer to Him. And I urge all Vincentians to trust Jesus Christ as their Lord and personal Savior before it is too late.
How was 2015 for you?
Good.
And what do you hope to happen this year?
Good things.
Like what?
Airport.
I want to see, as our Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has promised, more jobs, and also there are jobs going out that people could go and self-employ themselves, go to the bank and borrow money and so on and self-employ themselves. So all these things I want to see in process for the 2016 new coming year.
The management and staff of SVG Broadcasting Corporation takes this opportunity to wish each and every Vincentian a bright, prosperous and peaceful 2016.